Birmingham is England's second biggest city, but it's pretty far down the list when it comes to football. However, that's about to change because Arthur Blank, founder of Atlanta United, sees the potential in this city, and he is founding England's newest club, Birmingham United, with the goal of becoming the biggest team in the entire country. And we're appointed as manager to help get this team up to the Premier League. But there's a long way to go. We're starting in the 4th division, and we don't even have a single player on the team yet. So we host tryouts to try to scrape together a team, and we sign captain central midfielder Liam Morgan, loyal brothers Carlos and Diego Vargas, tough tackling Harry the Hammer Thompson, and young star Jazzy Parker, who at 17 years old was the most talented player at tryouts. So now we at least have a team, but there's another problem. We don't have a stadium to play in, so we worked out a deal with local club Walsall to share their stadium while we look at buying our own. But as a new club with 0 fans to support us, the atmosphere right now is dead. So we kick the season off trying a modern possession style of play, but the harsh reality is that we don't have the talent or the team chemistry right now to pull it off. We get off to a horrendous start, losing virtually all of our opening games. In fact, we are dead last in the table right now. So we look for what's working, and right now, that's the Vargas brothers. There's already chemistry between them, so we make sure both of these guys play on the right-hand side together. And as younger brother Diego is tackled, we see some fighting spirit kick in, and his older brother Carlos rushes out to defend him with the retaliation tackle, and we see this kind of fighting spirit get contagious in the club as Harry the Hammer Thompson joins in on the fray. The players are fighting for each other, and for the first time, we're out of last place and actually getting some results. But in training, the team's fighting spirit becomes a little too literal as Harry Thompson clatters into Diego Vargas, and again his older brother rushes over to back him up, and a fight breaks out between Carlos and Harry as the players cause a scene on the training pitch. It's our first tough decision as manager, and we bench both players to send a message, and we have a talk with the team to make it clear this behavior will not be tolerated, and fortunately, it seems to work. The team looks much better already. Carlos Vargas and Harry Thompson actually become friends off the pitch now, and we're winning games thanks to superstars like Jazzy Parker and Diego Vargas. Plus, we even uncover a new youth star, Jacob Shepard, a sharpshooting central midfielder who chips in with a few goals off the bench. We settle for a simple mid-table finish, but we're finally showing signs of progress, and we've even started to build a small group of fans who are coming to watch this new team find its footing. And we keep building for our second season as we secure a massive loan signing of Brooks Lennon from our owner's other team, Atlanta United.
Hey there, it's Brooks Lennon from Atlanta United. I'm super excited to be joining the team, and let's see if we can get promoted.
With that big signing, we've suddenly become one of the best teams in League 2. So promotion could be a possibility now. And as we kick off the season, Brooks Lennon goes on to score a goal in his debut out of midfield. He might be a right back by trade, but with stats like this down in Division 4, I think he's gonna play a key role for us as more of an attacking midfielder than anything. The team is actually doing surprisingly well, and we are very much on track for promotion. But then some problems start to pop up in the squad as Harry Thompson and the Vargas brothers are suffering from a distinct lack of fitness, and the level of our performances has dropped off significantly as mistakes are popping up on the pitch. And the only thing keeping it together right now is emerging superstar Jazzy Parker, who has finally turned 18 and announces his love for the club and the city of Birmingham with a tattoo on his arm to represent it. And it seems like this kid could be the face of our club if we continue to climb up. But shortly after his 18th birthday, problems start to pop up with Jazzy Parker as well. He's starting to suffer from the same lack of focus and fitness as some of the other players in this team. Could it be that his head has been turned by some of the many clubs that are starting to bid for him? Well, the truth is even more disappointing than that. News breaks that Harry Thompson has been caught with drug possession at a nightclub last weekend, and he's gonna be suspended for the rest of the season. It turns out that he and the Vargas brothers have been out partying and letting a life of drugs and alcohol ruin their careers. But now the worst part is that after Jazzy Parker turned 18, he's been joining his teammates out on the weekends, and if we don't act fast, we might lose our star player to a life of partying. So to send a message, we bench all of the players for a whole month. So we take control of the the dressing room and give one final warning to the team. We're starting a zero-tolerance policy for misbehavior, and the next player to act up will be sold. But this is an already thin team, so we promote some of our academy kids like center back Sean Gibbs and left back Arthur Bowden to replace the players that are going to be on the bench. And Captain Liam Morgan does his best to keep the team afloat by scoring goals, but it's clear without our star players, this team is like a shadow of its former self. There's no way we're getting promoted without them. So, after a whole month on the bench, we're giving our players one more chance into this first team. And thankfully, it appears like we've returned to normal, as Jazzy Parker is back at his very best, and his heroics drag the team back towards the top of the table as we secure a promotion spot with a 4th place finish. But some of our attitude problems are still there. The Vargas brothers decide to publicly complain about their treatment from us, and now we have to do something about it. We warned the players that misbehavior would not be tolerated, so I act swift and remove both of the Vargas brothers from the first team. And not only that, but I allow Diego Vargas to leave at the end of this season for Swansea City, which means we're gonna lose one of our best players, but we have to maintain a good dressing room at all costs. But as players leave the club, it makes room for new stars in the team, and Jacob Shepherd is breaking out as he gets more minutes. He's taking his chances well and continues scoring iconic long-range goals. If he can develop other parts of his game, he could be a top player. And now, one game stands between Birmingham United and promotion to the 3rd division. And Jazzy Parker, who looks like he's finally got his head on straight again, scores an early goal to put Birmingham United in front, but this game is not going to be easy. And we rely on some heroics from goalkeeper Finn Harper, who's been one of the underrated players in the series, to keep us in this tie. But a bad challenge sees Jazzy Parker go down injured, and we seriously now risk losing the momentum we had in this game. So it's Diego Vargas who's gonna come on and make one final appearance for Birmingham United, because he's the only player we have on the bench who could make a difference in this game. And as he makes one final incredible run to play it through for the captain, Liam Morgan, to finish the game off, we secure our very first promotion. It's a fantastic end to the season, and now we get one step closer to the top of England. It's a shame that Diego Vargas couldn't keep it together off the pitch. As he heads off to Swansea, we lose a big talent, but we've gained serious chemistry in the dressing room. And this is just the beginning, because for the first time, we're meeting our rivals Birmingham City, who just got relegated from the championship, and after a takeover of their own, both of these Birmingham clubs are going to be racing each other to try to get promoted up to the Premier League. But as we look at our team, if we want to keep building for another promotion, we need a lot of work. So the owner helps us again to work out a permanent deal for star Brooks Lennon, who is probably our best player last season. And that promotion means our fan base has actually started to grow, and for the first time, we're filling out our temporary shared home stadium with Walsall, and the atmosphere is helping a lot. And our young players continue growing. Jazzy Parker puts on amazing performances and leads the team to an important win in our first ever Birmingham derby against our rivals. And with Harry Thompson back from his suspension, we probably look to have our defense sorted now as well, because there's no doubting, despite his bad attitude, this guy is a class defender. And we're doing well in the top half of the table. But if we want to do even better, we can't just rely on the starting 11. We need the youth players on our bench to step it up a notch. So we have a word with them and demand that we see more development from our youth as they look to make an impact in the team. And there's one player who really takes this to heart. Jacob Shepherd wants to prove himself and doubles down in training to stay after for extra sessions and develop into the type of player we can count on. And he finally gets his chance. With Captain Liam Morgan on a yellow card, he comes on as a substitute and looks to impact this game. And this time, Shepherd shows a new defensive side to his game that simply wasn't there before. And that's in addition to his amazing long shots, which are very much still on display as he scores an absolute screamer from distance. And Jacob Shepherd wins man of the match in that performance. He's leading by example. This should teach our other youth players to follow his lead, and they also look to make their way into the starting 11. We're building a team with strong mentality, and everything is looking great. But as always, drama is just around the corner, and this time, it's Harry Thompson, who gets accused of abusing an opposition player on the pitch in one of our most pivotal league games. And as trouble off the pitch ensues, we stick by our word about misbehavior from earlier, and for the second time, we have to transfer list one of our best players, because we cannot have this in the dressing room. And this time, it's our direct rivals who pick up Harry the Hammer Thompson. He is going off to Birmingham City. And we'll be hoping that's the end of our dressing room issues because we cannot afford to lose any more star players. And as these guys leave the club, we're relying on our youth academy to keep filling out talent in our team. We have new players like striker Matthew Hobbs and promising winger Freddie Best, who are going to be expected to grow into this team just like the other players have done. And once again, Jacob Shepard continues to lead the way for these players as he becomes not only a starter, but arguably one of our best players. And with his performances on top of some of our other stars, we managed to finish the season in 14th place. It might not be promotion just yet, but as we enter the next season, the pressure is on because on the other side of Birmingham, City have continued to add to their backroom staff and are spending huge to try to win promotion. And our owner wants to do the same and make some big signings to rival them. But we have a chat with him and try to persuade him to give us the chance to back our youth players and build slower, because with a few years of development, they could be world class. However, we do risk losing some of our stars because players like Jazzy Parker are getting offers from top teams, and rightfully so. He's having his head turned by the dream of possibly playing in the Premier League. So Jazzy Parker does decide to stay for now. He's a Birmingham kid who loves this club, but we worry because if any truly top teams were to come along, it's hard to justify why he wouldn't leave us for them. But with or without Parker, this team has huge ambitions, and our owner unveils our new stadium, the Falcons Arena, to reflect our goals of becoming a top team. But there's a problem. A 40,000 seat arena like this is a bit too ambitious for our current fan base, and we're having trouble filling it out. And this means we have to win promotion again this season to keep growing, or our owner's poor financial decisions could mean the collapse of this club. But there's no need to worry because we get off to a great start in the league. Jazzy Parker's looking better than ever and proving why he's a superstar in the making. And Jacob Shepard continues his incredible development by playing very well and securing the vice captaincy by being a leader in the team. And promotion is a definite possibility because we are just 2 points off of the top 6. But as we enter January, we're given some heavy news. Jazzy Parker has received an offer from Manchester City and has decided he can't pass up on his dream to play under Pep Guardiola in the Premier League. So our best player, the face of Birmingham United, is suddenly gone, and our team just got a whole lot weaker. This is a reminder that if we don't get promoted this season, things could get even worse. So with the pressure on, our owner comes to us with a crazy idea. He says he's gonna secretly triple the pay of Atlanta stars Martinez, Wiley, and Mosquera to come in on loan through the rest of the season and make sure that we get promoted. But the owner does warn us, don't tell anybody how much we're paying these guys because under financial fair play rules, that much money is not allowed from us. But there's no doubting these loan signings work and these players are way too good for League One. Joseph Martinez scores over a goal a game to single-handedly drag us into these playoff spots. And now just 2 games stand between us and the championship. And with the semifinals on the line, Joseph Martinez scores the deciding goal to send us through to the final. And now a win over Derby County will mean we secure our promotion to the championship. And all we have to do is rely on the man himself, as Joseph Martinez pulls out the goal of the season with an audacious flick to set himself up and score the opening goal of the game. But Derby are gonna give us a fight as they pull back a goal, and now we're back to square one. We're firmly on the back foot now, and we're hanging on for dear life as we lose control of the game, and it's a matter of heart with just minutes remaining. But Birmingham United find one final chance to set up the vice captain, Jacob Shepard, to score the goal that takes us up to Division 2. The loan signings worked, and now we're one step closer to the Premier League. But the owner tells us our loan signings are not coming back on permanent deals. This was a one-time fix. We're left with a weak team that needs a lot of work if we want to avoid relegation. Because as things stand, we are the weakest team in the league. So we say farewell to older players like Carlos Vargas who retire and make room for the next generation of talent. And now we got a solid budget to spend, and this is going to be a big window. First up, we need to replace Joseph Martinez. So I signed Dominic Buchanan, a physical goal scorer who will now be our starting striker. And we're just getting started as I plot out the rest of our transfer list. That is, until I get some terrible news. The EFL has found out about the illegal wages we paid to our loan signings last season, and they've punished us with a year-long transfer ban. That means we can't use the rest of our funds, and we're stuck with the worst team in the championship to fight for survival. New signing Buchanan hits the ground running with plenty of goals, but our defense is so bad that we're dropping points in almost every game. We find ourselves in last place, and we need a solution fast. And with our defense the problem, I look at the weakest link, Academy kid Arthur Bowden. He's been with us for a few seasons, but it doesn't seem like he's ready to start at left back at this level. But his technical stats are so good, I can't just let this guy go. Instead, I tried converting him to a winger, and wow, check that out. I think we had an elite winger on our hands all this time. Now, we may have a transfer ban, but the new attacking Arthur Bowden certainly feels like a new signing. And Bowden does so well right away, scoring plenty of goals and helping drag this team back up the table. And suddenly, there's a good chance we survive relegation. But then, our world is flipped upside down again. The EFL has finished their investigation and found false financial reports from the owner about the loan signings, and we're punished again with an additional 6-point deduction. We're back in the relegation zone. And then in the final games, a goal from our former player Diego Vargas against us sees us drop important points against Swansea, and on the last day of the season, a heartbreaking loss to rivals Birmingham City sees us get relegated back to League One. Is this the end of our time at Birmingham United? Well, the owner apologizes for his mistake and begs us to stay, and we agree, but only with the promise that we'll do things right this time and build around our youth players rather than big new signings. But that relegation has consequences as our best players leave. We lose goalkeeper Finn Harper, striker Dominic Buchanan, and worst of all, vice captain Jacob Shepherd departs the club for the Premier League. And as much as it hurts, they're just too good to be down here in Division 3. So we rebuild with new signings like striker Anastasios Danis and promote academy kids like Kareem Amraoui to help the team, plus with existing stars like Arthur Bowden, Sean Gibbs, and Matthew Hobbs still at the club, we're actually able to kickstart our season surprisingly well. Arthur Bowden's been our best player ever since we moved him to the left wing. He's been the surprise of this career and a real hidden gem, but we're happy to have him, and his efforts carry us up to first place in the league. We could get promoted right back up to the championship. Not only that, but we're doing it in style. For the first time in this entire career, we're teaching the team to play a modern style of possession football that we haven't been able to pull off until right now. Now, playing this style requires everyone on the team to have a ton of chemistry and play in an unselfish way, but we're pulling it off to perfection. That is, until Arthur Bowden goes down injured, and suddenly our top goal scorer is going to be out of the side for an extended period of time. So we bring on our new striker Anastasios Danis in search of finding those goals that Bowden will be missing while he's out, and it works exactly like we intended. Danis is finding plenty of goals and helping the team stay afloat. But there's some warning signs because he's relying a lot on selfish play. And in the games that he's not scoring goals, it's frustrating teammates and ruining this chemistry that we've built. So I have to make the brutal decision to put the team first and bench Danis, who's gonna have to learn to play less selfishly if he wants a spot in this team. And as we look to perfect our system this season, the only other weak spot is our goalkeeper, who is really struggling to play out from the back, which is a crucial part of the new style we're playing. So for the second time this season, we have to be ruthless and find ourselves a new goalkeeper. And I do that with young Brazilian goalie Jefferson, who is exactly what we need. So with a new January signing in, it takes this team to another level. We remain top of the league, and now it's just consistency. And as we get towards the end of the season, longtime captain Liam Morgan announces he's retiring at the end of the season and wants us to finish this season strong for him. And that is exactly what we do. Striker Matthew Hobbs has led the team incredibly well all season as our vice captain after Shepherd left. He's one of our top academy players alongside Arthur Bowden, who's back from injury and doing the same. The team plays their hearts out to not only win promotion, but win the entire league. This season was important because we developed our academy kids, learned to play as a team, and we're actually ready for the championship this time. Plus, we won the fan base over with an exciting style, and we're starting to build up a bit of history here as we see banners and chants start to fill out the stadium. So we make our return to the championship, and this time we have a much better team. Our rivals Birmingham City are dumping money into the club as new owner Tom Brady spends big, but we learned our lesson from last time there and we doubled down on committing to our youth players instead. And with Morgan retired, we give the captain's armband full time to Matthew Hobbs. And these players are the real deal. I know it sounds crazy, but we could have a shot at promotion this season. And 10 games into the season, we find ourselves in a playoff spot. The only issue is I'm barely rotating the squad at all because we need results. The lack of rotation hurts us as players start to find their limits and go down injured. A terrible string of injuries ultimately leads to our collapse, and we lose over half of our starting 11. Our Premier League hopes are looking dashed, and now we're sitting outside those playoff spots. The only thing that can save us now is experience. We bring back Liam Morgan to work as our assistant manager and motivate our young players while the starters are out. And just like in the past, developing our youth is gonna be the path to success. And Liam Morgan helps right back Kareem Amraoui develop his game, and this kid's crossing ability creates enough chances for last season's outcast Donis to come in as a backup striker and find goals while our captain Matthew Hobbs is out injured. And it's just enough to buy us time as our stars start to come back from injury. It's time for one final push. We could still do this. With the team fit once again, it looks like we haven't even missed a step. This squad is genuinely looking fantastic. We managed to sneak our way into the playoff spots, and there is an outside chance we get promoted this season. And the pressure's on because our rivals Birmingham City have won the league and they're going up, and we need to be close on their heels. But in the semifinals, Arthur Bowden gets injured again. He's becoming very injury prone. That's concerning, and we're gonna need to do it without our star player. But after a hard-fought 2 legs, Matthew Hobbs sets up Donis to complete his redemption arc and see us through to the final. Everyone has their part to play this season, and we are united. And now only one game stands between us and our dreams of Premier League glory. We just have to get a win, and then longtime servant Brooks Lennon steps up to the challenge with a late goal to see us through. We finally reached our goal of making it to the first division, and we've built an incredible team of youth players like Captain Matthew Hobbs to take us there. But we have a big year ahead of us because we're now the weakest team in the Premier League. This squad is gonna need a ton of work if we want to survive, but now we've got Premier League money, so it's time for upgrades. We bring in experienced midfielder Joe Linton and breakout star center back Caio Correa to help transform our back line, and other signings like Jesus Lopez, Julio Martino, and several more mean it's our biggest window yet, but it also means 5 of our starting 11 players have now changed since last season, and the question is, will it work? Because our goal is to avoid relegation this season, and the new signings do not work out right away. A big mistake from Joe Linton means we concede our first goal of the season. It could take these guys a little bit of time to settle in. And then Caio Correa, who was supposed to be our answer for defense, has a nightmare start to this season. He makes several high-profile mistakes that cost the team points. This is not what we hoped for. And it comes to a head as Correa loses his man for yet another goal in the FA Cup, and this time it's courtesy of an assist from our former player, Diego Vargas. So I make the decision to bench some of the bigger names in the team and leave it to them to show the attitude they need to fight their way back into the first team. Because we're in 19th place right now, and we're looking like we might get relegated. But that's when we see the response we want. Correa comes to personally speak with us and make it clear he's willing to work hard to get back into the team, and he's had a hard time adjusting, but it's not for a lack of effort. I'm gonna give him a second chance as we make a drastic change to our system. We're going for a back 5. Maybe this will help us stop conceding so much. And against our rivals Aston Villa, we see a huge change in our fortunes. With a new attitude and formation switch, Correa looks fantastic in the back line for the first time yet, and we're deadly on the counterattack with players like Arthur Bowden developing even more this season. Now this is much more like it. We're just 2 points off of safety with half of the season to go. We're heading in the right direction. But then it all comes crashing down as Academy star Arthur Bowden announces he wants to leave for his childhood favorite club, Liverpool, and although it hurts, we have to accept. And now we have to replace our star player because we're desperate to survive relegation. And now seems like the time to bring back Birmingham United's fan favorite star, Jazzy Parker. He flopped at Manchester City and couldn't find minutes, so he moved to AC Milan in Italy, where he's doing okay, but his career has not panned out to the degree that we all hoped it would when he was younger, and now is our chance to bring him back and fulfill his extremely high potential. But we don't have enough money for the transfer just yet, so we have to wait for this Bowden deal to be finalized, otherwise we can't sign Parker. And while Bowden negotiates with Liverpool, he's still our player, which means he goes on to play the next few matches in the league, and his amazing performances carry us to some decent results. And suddenly now, we're at deadline day, and Bowden is still here. What is going on? Well, news breaks that Arthur Bowden failed his Liverpool medical because of his frequent injury problems, which is good for us because he'll stay, but it's very concerning about his long-term ability to stay fit for the club, and it also means we can't bring Jazzy Parker back to the team just yet. So we find our next best target and look to bring back Diego Vargas, a player who's matured a lot in recent seasons, and he promises us if we bring him back, he'll show us just how much he's improved. So we give him a second chance, and boy, does it pay off. Vargas brings an element of trickery to the wing that we've been missing, and between him, Bowden, and Hobbs, the team is looking great up top. And Diego Vargas goes on to score the most important goal of our season that sees Birmingham United safe from relegation, and we're gonna be staying up in the Premier League for another season. And it was close, but Birmingham City got relegated instead of us, which maybe gives us a sign that we're slowly taking over the city. But next up, we want to be the best team in the country, and to do that, we still have to build this team up a lot. And I absolutely refuse to give up on the idea of bringing Jazzy Parker back. He's been the missing piece from our team for seasons now, and I think it's about time that this kid comes home. It takes a club record transfer fee, but we're willing to pay whatever it takes, and now Jazzy Parker has officially made his return. And I'm gonna build this team around our new signing, Jazzy, in a 4-3-3 system that's going to allow this player to shine as an attacking midfielder. And as we get to the games, he shows his quality right away. I think it's clear Parker is the player that we thought he could be so many seasons ago, and it's up to us to help him keep developing because the sky is the limit with the talent that he has at his disposal. The only problem is, as the pressure is put on Jazzy Parker to perform, he's taken it upon himself to be the star of this team, and with all the focus on him, he's starting to become a little selfish. Now, this is a problem we've seen in the past with players like Donis, but the difference is that Jazzy Parker is trying his hardest to help the team win. He's just a little lost on his responsibilities, so we're making an important change to our lineup. We're moving Jazzy Parker up to striker, while the less selfish Matthew Hobbs can actually find a better home as an attacking midfielder because his work rates and passing are actually world class. And the players hit the ground running with this new formation. And we're in top form at this point. The chemistry is at an all-time high again. And although Jazzy Parker might still be the star of the show, I actually mean that in a good way this time. As long as it's not coming at the cost of his teammates, we're happy to be winning as a team. And right now, we might only be a mid-table side in the league, but we've dragged this team to an unlikely FA Cup final, where we actually have the chance against Liverpool to win our first real piece of silverware. And with the game on the line, Jazzy Parker is the one who ultimately sacrifices a shot on goal for the most unselfish move to set up Arthur Bowden, who scores the late game-winning goal. We finally get our first piece of silverware, and this team is starting to look like one of the best clubs in the country. So despite the mid-table finish, we now have the Europa League because of the FA Cup win, and it's our first chance to perform in Europe. But the big question is, can this team truly become the best in England? And now it's time for the Community Shield, which means we have a second shot at a trophy, and this time our longtime veteran Brooks Lennon scores the winning penalty to secure our second piece of silverware as a club. This team is learning how to become winners. But after that, we get sad news that Brooks Lennon is going to retire at the end of the season. And this means we have one more shot at having him lead this club to success. And now we look good across all competitions because things keep moving along and we're actually top of our group in the Europa League as well as fighting for a top 4 spot in the Premier League. Arthur Bowden and Jazzy Parker are both doing incredibly well with this squad. They're no joke, 2 of the best players in the league. And the team's confidence is high as we make it to the Europa League knockout rounds against Tottenham. And it's a thrilling finish as Diego Vargas brings the team to extra time with an amazing solo goal just at the death. But as we take it to penalties, missed penalties from Brooks Lennon and Sean Gibbs see us lose the shootout, and we bow out of our first ever run in Europe a little earlier than expected. Now this leaves us in a weird spot. Is this team gonna be able to actually make it to the top, or have we already found our peak? But the season's not over yet. We still have the Champions League spots to play for, and a huge win against our rivals Birmingham City means we do secure a top 4 finish, and that is a huge deal. But we still need to complete our goal of becoming the best team in England as well. And the pressure's on because I'm announcing we are leaving the club at the end of this season, which means we only have one more chance at becoming the best club in the Premier League. And with Champions League plus all 3 domestic competitions, we have a lot of options at winning this season. And with Champions League money to spend, we can sign almost whoever we want at this point. And there is one player that's been sorely missing from this squad. Jacob Shepherd, our vice captain and star midfielder from the past, is my top target to bring back. And for a new club record fee, we bring him back to Birmingham United for one final chance at success. And now this team is looking better than ever. With players like Parker and Bowden having become genuinely world class, we've got a great team. And now the fan base has been exploding. And we're packing out our home stadium almost every match. The team is looking absolutely fantastic right now, and we're getting incredible results to start the season. And the addition of Jacob Shepherd back in this team helps us push our way through the Champions League group stages, and the team truly has each other's backs as they fight for each other on the pitch through some intense challenges. This is the complete opposite of our team early on. We went from fighting each other on the training ground to fighting for each other in big games. And on top of that, the team has perfected our intricate system of passing and possession football, which relies on a high level of chemistry, which we now have. And now it's time to see how far we can take this as we draw Atletico Madrid in the Champions League round of 16. This is a big opportunity for this club, but it's a humbling 4-1 scoreline over both legs that sees us knocked out of the competition. And now we're left wondering, can Birmingham United actually succeed here in our final season? Or will this team still just be a work in progress? Well, this season is not over yet. We still have the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup, where we've actually made it to the final to take on Manchester City. And this is an enormous opportunity for Jazzy Parker, who never made it at Man City all those years ago, and now he's out to come back and show them the potential they missed in him because he's grown into one of the world's best players with us. And we kick off the game continuing our free-flowing new trademark style against City that also plays that way. But Jazzy Parker capitalizes and does exactly what he set out to do in this game by scoring the opening goal with a beautiful overhead kick, and now we take the lead. But Manchester City managed to find a goal of their own, and it's looking like this game might be more difficult than we thought. But some good build-up play late in the game, and then a little bit of luck with a handball gives Jazzy Parker one more opportunity to score against his former side. The pressure is on, and as Jazzy Parker steps up with everything on the line, he converts! Jazzy Parker's great performance wins us another trophy, and we still have more to play for this season. And we're showing that winning games like this is no fluke, because we also managed to drag ourselves to the FA Cup final again. Now it's incredible that we even make it to 2 cup finals in a single season, but we do even better than that and put on an absolutely dominant performance. This is everything we've been building for. The defense is set up well and playing to perfection, and we're able to play out from the back with smooth play, cutting through midfield. These are the tactics that we've spent seasons perfecting, and they're paying off big time. And we pull off a massive 3-0 victory, which marks our 2nd trophy of the season. This has been an amazing finale, but there is still one big thing left this season, and that is the Premier League. We only have 1 game remaining in this season, and surprisingly, we find ourselves level on points with both Spurs and Chelsea. A win here could potentially see us win the Premier League. From humble beginnings as a brand new club to competing in the Champions League, Birmingham United have had a meteoric rise to success, and now we have 1 final game left to fulfill our ultimate goal of becoming the best team in England. But it's going to be tough because Manchester City are out for revenge after we defeated them in that final in the Carabao Cup, and we're forced under a lot of pressure here early in the game, but the defense still remains firm. We're just going to have to wait and take our chances. And with the game on the line, a beautiful bit of chemistry between Karim Amraoui and Diego Vargas leads Birmingham United to open the scoring with an unbelievable goal. And we top that off with another Jazzy Parker masterclass. And these 2 goals means we are in a fantastic position here as the game winds down. But with only seconds remaining on the clock, we're unfortunately gonna have to rely on results elsewhere. We did our part. Now, is it enough to win the league? The answer is yes. The crowd go wild as they find the news out. Birmingham United have done the unthinkable and taken our spot as the new best club in England. After a crazy 10 seasons with drama on and off the pitch, our hard-fought path to the top has put Birmingham on the map as one of England's top footballing cities. Now, if you enjoyed this story and you want to create your own fun scenarios in career mode, check out my Patreon link in the description where I offer PDF guides full of unique ideas that you can use in your own saves. I've also got a bunch of mods up there so you can play with the Birmingham United club yourself if you're on PC. Thank you so much for watching and supporting, and I hope to see you again soon.